Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be customizing this Laguna doll into Alice from Alice in Wonderland. I started off with rerouting her hair with 10mm curls and then boil washing the hair. After I sealed that off and masked off her hair, I went in with an X-Acto knife to get rid of her little fins and her webbed fingers. I put a little bit of air dry clay in her fin holes, and then once that was dry, I sanded her entire body. I went in with acetone and removed her face. Now that she's prepped, I went in with Titan Mars Pale and I mixed a little bit of yellow and brown, so it was a little bit darker than the other doll that we're going to be doing in this video. I started off with a layer. I was somewhat worried about the blue skin tone underneath, but it ended up being covered fairly well. You can also use a little bit of red if it starts to look a little bit green to cancel it out. Once I sealed that with matte varnish, I sprayed the face with Mr. Super Clear and I started to sketch in the face. I wasn't using any reference for her face. I just knew I was going to give her blue eyes, but I wanted it to be in my style. I actually made another Laguna doll she's posted, and when I did her eyes, one of my patrons was like, oh my gosh, what if you used her for Alice in Wonderland? I was like, oh, that's a good idea, because I don't know, it just never occurred to me, even though Laguna is blonde. I was going for fishy eyes in the first one, but I just went with big and like sweet eyes for her. On the second layer, we're just building up those colors. There was this one doll that I worked on a while ago, and the art was like kind of like cross-eyed, it was an original character. It was like my first time doing like kind of like cross-eyed eyes, and now like I don't know, they look so cute on dolls. Like if they're like kind of look not, it's hard to explain. Like if you do it too much, then it kind of looks funky, but if it's just a little bit, like I feel like on dolls it looks cute. On the third layer, we can go in with our black watercolor pencil and sketch in that eyeliner and finish up building up those colors. I really liked working on her face. One of the main things about these two face-ups that I was doing, I didn't really want to give them like defined pupils. Like I wanted it to look a little bit creepy in a way. I think she turned out adorable. With her face up complete, we can move on to her outfit. Her outfit is a simple blue dress. I added a little collar to it, and both the aprons were made off camera. They are basically dresses without sleeves. Depending on how you make them, you can close the side seams up to their armpits, or you can keep it open. I painted her a little 3D printed tea set and a little white bunny, and here she is. Now we're moving on to our next doll, a darker version of Alice in Madness Returns. I already rerouted her hair with Nightmare from Shimmerlocks, and I'm using my Titan Mars Pale after I prepped her body with a nail buffer, and I'm just painting on her skin. I've never played this game, but I do really want to. I just don't have the platforms to play it on, unfortunately. There was the scrapped game, so I don't know if that'll ever be made or not. So we're living out our Alice in Madness dreams in here. After I sprayed her face with Mr. Super Clear, I can go in with her face up. Now, Alice in Wonderland's face was very sweet, and this face is not. I made her eyebrows arched. I didn't make her eyes as big and droopy as Alice in Wonderland. It is a fairly similar face up, just with green eyes instead of blue, and a little bit darker colors with her lips and eyeshadow. Sometimes the sealant will trap little hairs, like dust hairs, so I'll use an X-Acto knife to lightly scrape those off. Now that we've got the eyes sketched out, we can keep building up those colors. Whenever I add the white paint, I always feel like then I can see if I actually like the face up, since even though it's small details, I feel like it does a lot. Even this difference. So now that we're done with her face, we can move on to her outfit. Her outfit is basically the same, except for her skirt, it's not that poofy. I made a tulle skirt for Alice in Wonderland to help make her dress bigger, but we're not doing that for this. It's pretty much the same for the bodice, puffy sleeves, and she just doesn't have a collar this time. Yeah, for her apron, instead, I didn't connect the side seams. Technically, for Alice in Wonderland, I didn't have to do that anyways. And then for Alice's dress, I gave her a little white lace. for both girls, the socks are sewed directly onto their legs. For Allison Madness, she had black stripes, so I painted those first. On her apron, she has these little symbols and blood splatters, so I painted those in. I make sure to keep the paint a little bit watered down, but not too much to the point that it bleeds into the fabric. So you want it to be a consistency where it's thick enough where it doesn't do that, but not thick enough to the point where it doesn't glide and it just looks chunky. So for the blood splatters, I was kind of just marking out the spots and then going in and making them more realistic. I mix red with a little bit of black to help get like that dried blood look. You can kind of see here how I made the apron different instead of making it like kind of like a dress almost. I had a 3D printed knife, but I accidentally printed it way too tiny, so I just sculpted over it because I didn't feel like reprinting it. So painted her unlucky horseshoe, and I painted like the white design so it was like kind of raised, so when I went over with my chrome marker you could see the design. You can see it here before I added blood to the knife. That'll finish her up. I tied her with a little ribbon and here she is. I gave her some Frankie shoes because I don't have the Dalmonias, unfortunately. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. And thank you for watching.